Well, hello there and welcome back to the worm. We here in Michigan are suffering with the late fall burble, they call it. Actually, nobody calls it that, and I don't think anybody's suffering but me. And if I'm honest, I'm not suffering either. We are approaching the end of the fall here. It snowed the first time maybe 3 weeks ago or so. It's 50 today. Weird, right? But in about 3 days time, we're going to be down into the low 20s overnight, and we're not even getting above freezing during the day. So I got to get ready for winter. Oh, by the way, if you saw the last video on building the kitchen, when I made all the feed out here, y'all remember these things and my my used motor oil smear? I put it on, I think 4 times now. I come back out here 8-10 hours later and they're almost completely dry. Slop more of it on. We're going to take those and flip them over. It's just kind of an experiment to see if that keeps water from wicking up the log round and rotting it. So I got about 3 days to do several things. I got to drain my water tank. Whatever's left in it, I'll just put in 5-gallon buckets, and then I keep everything in the cabin for the whole winter. Everything for drinking, dishes, showering has to be stored in there so it doesn't freeze. Luckily, that doesn't have to be done today. The one thing that has to be done today, because it's the only really warm day left. Do you guys have a lot of people that really worry about your ribs? Yeah, me too. It's kind of strange, right? Ever since I ate it on the cabin stairs last winter and busted a rib, people really seem to want me to put some kind of rail on this thing. I don't know, it's kind of weird. Seems kind of high tech, but I think I'm gonna do it. Of course, the reason I haven't put a rail on this is as I'm working on the cabin, everything inside, outside, I kind of use this as a workbench. I mean, I did eventually build this thing, that helps a lot. But I really enjoy dumping my tools on this and working on stuff right there. I think at some point I'm going to build a screened-in porch on that front of the cabin. So those stairs, I don't care about them that much. I mean, I'd prefer not to break bones again, but I'm not going to take a lot of time to do anything fancy with those stairs. They're probably not going to be there more than a year or so. I got plenty of junk lumber too. We could mill up if we needed something to make a railing. One thing I think is a better idea, I don't know, I mean, we can get in a little debate here, of course. All I can really hear is my side, so I'm probably going to win. I'm going to put some, somewhere, jeez, oh Pete. I'm going to brush or roll a little bit of porch and floor paint with some of that abrasive, like that sand in it and the non-skid. I thought about doing it because I have a half a gallon of it and it's already mixed up. This is the weirdest stuff. Check this out. See if we can balance you on this water jug here. Yeah, look at that. I mean, I've seen paint go bad, but this is just bizarre. It's not really set up. Like just turned into foam or something. Kind of crazy, right? Ooh. Could you paint with it? Did I just put so much of that additive in there a long time ago that the paint's still good? And I kind of hate to smear that on and have it not set up, especially where I have to walk. Might it actually work? Nah, I think I better not. I got a quart of some other stuff and some more abrasive, so let's do that instead. I hear you though, you want me to try it, don't you? I kind of want to try it myself. Well, we'll see if it dries on that board, then we'll see if we can find something else to non-skid. Oh yeah, and then one other thing I need to do is figure out these propane tanks. I still have 2 tanks back here, 2 40-pound propane tanks. As you guys remember, I had a bunch of propane here because I didn't used to have a cabin. I used to just have a tent. My English is really going downhill, not speaking to anybody ever. But now that I have the cabin, bunch of propane there, this is just a heated workshop. It's going to take me all winter to go through 40 pounds, so I want to switch that one out if I can. I'm not sure how I rigged that up. I want to switch that one out with the 100-pounder in here. Actually, I'd probably go ahead and finish using that up. Tito and I drug that out of here a month or 2 ago to get it filled, and it's so old that they won't even fill it or certify it or anything anymore. So maybe we won't put it in there yet, but gotta... Whoa, that was creepy. The door of the man cave just swung open. I thought I saw some personage out of the corner of my eye. Anyway, lots of stuff to do in the next few days. Let's go ahead and smear some paint on these steps, and then, I don't know, we'll see if we can figure out a rail or something. I'd appreciate it. Is there anything you can think of you need out of the cabin? You let me know right now before we start painting, or this is going to be a real pain. Add 1/2 cup to 1 quart of paint. Let's not measure, how about? It's about 1/2 can. So what, 1/4 cup? What's that, about a cupped handful? Yeah, that's nice and gritty, real gritty. I know I say this a lot, but I like industrial kind of work on small scales. You know, where you're not worried about a drop of paint getting on the ground or anything, where you can just kind of slop stuff on and it looks plenty good. You know, if I took the time and taped off all the edges, like, it just wouldn't make any difference. So you just get to throw paint around. What could be better than, well, I mean, a lot of things would probably be better, but it's still pretty good, you know what I mean? You know, like Twix. Twix is better than industrial painting. I really like Twix. Oh, by the way, Sarah hadn't been up here since birthday week, so she came up last weekend for 3 days. And we decided, since I went to all the damn work of building this cabin, building the retractable movie theater, making the blackout shades, the weather was super cold all 3 days and windy, so we decided to spend the entire time watching movies, and it was awesome. Tito came up for a day. He watched a few movies with us. So much fun in there. It's incredible. Did you know when it's cold, I can turn a little knob and make it warm? I'm basically like a backwoods redneck god of some sort. Felt so crazy to be out here at Ringworm with no power and no water and no roads and all that crap, watching movies on a big screen TV. No, not TV. I don't stoop to TVs. It was a theater, a proper theater. We all agreed there's something special about it because it's such a small space. It's the middle of the day, but it's dark, like really dark in there. And when you're sitting on the couch and you've got the table lowered down on top of you, you can't get in and out easily. You have to slide out like a 2-year-old. But just being locked in there in that space really makes you focus on the movie. We didn't just watch random movies. We spent some time making a list of stuff we wanted to see. We all wanted to see that would be good on a big screen. And we're all like, yeah, that was just an incredible experience. Different than, you know, watching a movie at home on your TV. You know, screw TVs. TVs are for the weak. Build yourself a cabin. Make a retractable theater. You'll see what I'm talking about. Wow, just exactly the right amount of paint too. That was about half the can. We could do one more coat if we think the second one will dry today. All right, you got to admit, that makes my ribs at least 20 to 23% safer, don't you think? Oh, I didn't even notice what a great match that is to the door. When I went in to buy the paint, he said, yeah, we can mix it any color. I was like, just give me gray. He said, we don't have just gray. You know, I just thought of, remember the last time I bought paint? It was for the floor inside the cabin. And I went and I said, just give me a green, I don't care. Like a idiot man, you walk in, I don't care about colors. And I got it back here, I smeared it on the floor and I hated it. Yeah, I should have maybe taken a little more time picking this, but looks like it'll match the door just right. So it's just meant to be. All right, how do we do a very, very simple railing without cutting the stairs up too much? Looks like we'd only have to trim this back a tiny bit to get something against here. I guess I could go into the cabin, just put a couple screws in there. That's not too big a deal, a couple little holes. Yeah, this is gonna be the issue. If we could just do one there and one at the bottom step. Man, it'd be really nice if I could build that out instead of cutting this out of here. Oh yeah, you do want to build it out because you want it to stay on this plane all the way down. So, okay, we got to build something there and something underneath there. Cool, the paint dried. You know, it gets dark here at, I don't know, around 5 or something. And it was 3:30. I touched it, I walked on it. It's like, yeah, it's pretty dry. Kind of want to put another coat on because you could see areas where there was a lot of grit and then somewhere there wasn't much. I'm not sure, but I think some of that grit settled to the bottom of the paint, you know, if you mix it in and then let it sit there for a half an hour. So when I put the second coat on, I was kind of stirring it, rolling, stirring, rolling. But there was only an hour, maybe 2 hours at most of daylight left before it got dark, the temperature dropped, and then it rained. Didn't matter. It worked out great. I've got some logs here. I think I'm just going to do this out of logs because I don't really have very good lumber for this. I think normally, what would you do on a deck? Probably do like 4x4s in the corners. You probably do all 4x4s. I don't really have 4x4s. I could make them, but it takes me a while. But I got plenty of these small cedar logs, so I think we'll use, what, maybe 3 of those. The others aren't cedar. Those 2 are, and then I've got a pile of more, some more way back there that we can dig through. As the paint was drying, I was staring at this thing trying to figure out the easiest way to put this together without cutting these deck boards out of here. So I came up, actually, while I was standing here for like 20 minutes looking at it, and my brain was just blank. I came back out this morning and I was like, oh, this is obviously, there are 2 ways you can do this. I could either put a board on here and then we could have our log up there, that would connect it. Or I think what we do, maybe, I made this for the back of the fold down bunk in the man cave. You guys remember that? And then I pulled it out of there when I took the bunk out. This is just basically like almost a 4x6. I just ripped it with the chainsaw and then planed the edges down a little bit. It's just sitting here. We might as well use it. It happens to be the exact width of these stairs. So I'm just going to cut a piece. We'll attach this to the stringer and then we'll somehow notch out our log to fit on here. I actually think it'd look kind of cool if the handrails didn't line up. Like you got a top one flat like this and the other one was at an angle or something. I don't know. We'll just see how it turns out. There's a support right there. Somebody's gonna have to climb under the stairs and put the other 2 screws in. Anyone? No. I'll get it. Well, I guess put the bottom one on first. Oh, glad I got saw pants on. I would have put that bit right through my leg. It's almost like working on a car. There's not enough space. Whoa. Sunk that one in about 3/4 of an inch. Whoopsie. Where'd them screws? Oh, there they are. God, you guys really got to start pitching in here. It's getting ridiculous. Freeloaders. Let's see, how high do you suppose a rail's supposed to be? We could look it up, but we don't believe in that kind of thing. Might as well just use those 2 cedar logs over there. So let's see. Why don't we use the skinny one here and we'll notch it out quite a bit. And then the fat one here, and that'll make it stick out a little bit further. This thing's been laying on the ground for a couple years. That's what I was using to set all my lumber on over here when I was building the cabin. Nice thing is it peels easily. Usually those grubs don't go too deep into the wood. Yeah, I think it'll be fine. Have some cool trails in it. Ooh, yeah, let's leave all the nubs on there too, shan't we? Let's just see if we can cut it right down the middle. What do we need, 6 inches there? 7. Let's do 7. Important thing is just to make this cut right in line with the whole log. I mean, I'll probably end up having to trim it a little bit, but try to go straight as possible. Looks pretty straight. Oh yeah, then we got the floorboards sticking out, so we're gonna need to chop that just a little bit. Yeah, I don't think I cut enough out. Whoa, I did. That was a lucky cut. Look how great that fits. Alright, well, I didn't cut that top cut perfectly straight, although I kind of like the look of that. More important, is it straight this way? Wow, it's quite straight. We're gonna go with it. If it doesn't have a little wonk, nobody would believe I made it. Oh. There's a little play in it. Do I want it to be wonky, or should I put it vertical? I don't know, we'll figure it out. Don't have very many galvanized bolts of the right size, or rather screws, lag screws. Oh, I guess I could use bolts. I do have a bunch of bolts. Maybe we'll do bolts. Yeah, these are all way too long or way too short. The only galvanized I have are way too long, so we're using the non-galvanized variety. I'm pretty sure they'll last a year. That's all we need. Alright, for these guys, we only want about 4 inches of log left. 3 for each. That should be fine. Now, that other log bit's too beastly. I think we're gonna go cut something off my pile here. We should have plenty of garbage to choose from. This one's cool. It's got a little bit of a bend in it. Looks about the right size. And since it's perfectly lined up with the one underneath it, we'll cut both of them. Wow, this sucker is, for how long it's been sitting there, it is really heavy. I'm surprised it's kind of waterlogged. I mean, it's been sitting outside, but not on the ground or anything. You guys know by now that I'm not quite right in the head. I was just thinking, I don't know how these rails come together, if one comes up here and the one goes on top or something else. You know what would look kind of cool is if the top rail just kept going out there. I know when you were walking down, you'd have to take your hand off and go to the next rail. That'd be no big deal. But I have some old oil lamps. Actually, I don't know that they're old. They look old, but they're hanging on the deer castle. I don't know if anybody remembers back that far, a few years ago, when I built that. It would be pretty sweet to have the top rail come stick way out here and then have an oil lamp dangling from it. It would look even more ridiculous if the top rail went like this and the down rail, the slanted rail, came way up like that and you had an oil lamp hanging up there. I mean, I'd never light the thing, but it'd be kind of cool looking. Let's just leave it right where it is. We'll put it together, see how it comes up, and then, I don't know, maybe we'll do that. This drill bit is not quite wide enough, but I've got this or really fat, which won't work, so let's see what happens. Luckily, we've got enough horsepower to break this thing in half. Holy cripes. Even with the noise canceling on, that thing is loud. I didn't see anything break back there. Yeah, that's gonna be rock solid. I've been slowly replacing my old Ryobi tools with better ones. This I haven't had before, an impact gun. That thing is a beast, and it's half the power of their strongest one. I got it on super sale last year with, like, you know, you buy 3 batteries, get a tool or whatever. But man, they're higher end brushless tools. I'd never need anything more. I just realized this works with whatever they are, the high output batteries. It has the extra contacts in the back. I wasn't even using the right battery. We're gonna have to try one more with the right battery and see how much it zips it in there. There's a lot of stinking power in these for a pretty good price. I'm not selling Ryobi, I just, you know, I just like them. That thing has got some beastly power with the right battery. Guess we make some kind of rail. It goes on the top, and then that one maybe fits into here. We could notch that out, fit another rail or log or something in there. Let's see what we got. Well, look at that. That's why it felt right. 42 and 3/8. Let's make it right at 42. See how we did. Well, the bubble's almost in there, so that's good. And that one's almost in there. It's about as good as you get with a chainsaw. Try not to cut the cabin. I don't think I did quite as well on that one. You can see this is the high spot, I bet. It's pretty close. You know, kind of a tight spot right here. I think I'm going to leave it for now. We'll figure out what we're putting on here, because if we're notching something out, we can make that correction on the rail itself. Oh, well, I guess we're at that point. What should we use for a handrail? I guess a log would look the best to match this. I kind of like it to be flat on top, though. I like to be able to set stuff on it. Maybe we do both. Maybe we take a log, rip it down the middle, so we've got 2 pieces, 2 handrails. And then the top of it we rip off too. So if it's like this, flat on the bottom, so it's a half round. And then we could also rip the top off just a little bit so there's a flat spot on it. What do you think of that? We could actually use that cedar piece that we didn't use here if it's long enough, and I think it is. Put one right down the middle. I don't know if this is going to work to put one way off to the side, but let's try it. Oh, by the way, remember this little chunk of wood? It's set up just fine. Totally works. Looks pretty good. I got it flat, but see how thin this is compared to this? Not a huge deal, but you can't set, well, you could probably still set your coffee cup on it. I'm going to try to get this side down a little bit more, and instead of using up a bunch of planer batteries, we'll just see if we can chop it down a little bit. Almost had it perfect and then nicked. Oh, this is getting chopped off anyway. We don't care. Ooh. Wow, that fits together great. Yeah, we'll just chop this off later wherever we want. Oh, we gotta notch this out. So let's just cut that, and then, I don't know, it looks like about there. Does it fit? Does it fit? Oh, gorgeous. Yeah, that's plenty good for what we're doing. All right, that's pretty sweet. Now, how do we do this guy? A couple inches down from there, we can chop that out. So I guess we want it to come down at the same slope as the stairs-ish. Doesn't matter if your hand rides up an inch or two. Maybe we'll just sight across this straight edge. I don't know. What do you think? Like that? Not really sure how you're supposed to, not that we care how you're supposed to, but drawing like a straight line on a rounded thing, there must be a good trick for it. I always just try to get my head level with it and then just mark around an imaginary line. I think that looks all right. Ooh, pretty good. I'm always so surprised when things go well, especially when I do it like that. That fits great. This one's gonna be tricky. How do you do this? Ooh, that's nice. That'll do. None of these are long enough to have our lantern hanging out there, but that's all right. We'll get done with this and make something else real weird. Nothing but possibilities around the worm. Nice. Yep, it's a nice height. Oh, yeah, we're gonna have to chop that off because it is kind of weird to tuck your hand there. You know, I hadn't thought of. It's a good thing I always wear gloves, like just about 24/7. Well, not so much when I sleep. But there are gonna be some sticky fingers coming from this thing. Oh. I was really trying not to do that. Went through and hit the top of the screw. Just dinged up my chain. Oh well. Golly, that's professional. Alright, are you happy? Are you happy? You can back off now. I'm completely safe. And I also promise to always keep my helmet on. As soon as it starts snowing, I'll put it on, and I'll even put some screws through there to hold it in place. Oh yeah, so much more better. All right, well, that was nice. That was quick and easy. This is one good reason for you to go out, get a little piece of property, build your own shack like this. Get a nice little chainsaw, just sling stuff around, see how it fits together. In the time between breakfast and lunch, you can just use the forest garbage and make yourself a railing. There's a real freedom and fun to it that you might get, I wouldn't get if I made this from store-bought lumber. All right, what else was on our list? Propane. Oh, there's another propane thing I got to do. I use those little 1 pound green propane cans just for my stove in there, and I only use that stove to make coffee. I've got 6 or 8 of those little cans, and I just refill them. They last, I don't know, probably 6 months or something. Somewhere around a month per can. I got to fill those back up. I'm on my last one. I'd like to do it before it starts snowing. Not that it really matters. The only problem is you want the green cans, the small can that you're refilling, to be cold and the big can to be warm, and right now they're reversed. I've got all the green cans in the cabin. Let's grab a 20 pounder out of the shed here, and I guess we'll throw it in the cabin for a few hours or maybe for the night. If you do it like I've got them now, you've got a cold 20 pounder. It just doesn't have as much pressure, so you go to put it in a warm can and you might not get it filled up more than a quarter or half, just depends on the temperature. If you do it the other way around, like my brother, who's probably watching this, he put his green cans in the freezer and then fill them up. And I used to use his buddy heater, screw those green cans into it. And I gotta say, they were a little bit freaky because the green cans were all like bulged out. That's my brother making propane bombs. Maybe he was trying to... Yeah, there we go. Got half of one hooked up to the big flamethrower. Oh yeah, righty loosey. I always forget on these things. Oh, I forgot to use the handrail. Sorry. Okay. I actually bulged one of these a little bit too. Just look at the side of this. Maybe I put it against the cabin, you can see it. And then look at this one. Little bulgy, and this is what I remember from his cans too. This is overlapping metal here, so it's a little thicker. Actually, I think some of them have a band around there. So it'd be bulge here, and then a bulge here. That one's a little bit bulgy. I'm all right with a little bit though. It's weird though. I never really do this cold and warm thing. They're usually, both these cans and the big one are just sitting outside and I do it. So kind of surprised that one got bulged. Well, I won't let the big one warm up for too long. Let's take a quick look at those propane cans on the back of the man cave. I assume I just put some kind of splitter in there to go to the two cans, but I don't remember. That was a long time ago. It's probably a year, maybe two. It's unfortunate my pretty cover is not going to fit anymore. Oh yeah, looks like we just take this out and then we got a extra splitter for some more propane. Ooh, somebody left that turned on. That's not great. Got to go light the stove to let the pressure out of that. Sheesh, come on. It's got a really long hose, like at least a 20-foot hose on there, so it holds a lot of pressure. There we go. I'd say that's good enough. I like this place so much now that it's done and put together and is a good workspace and it's got heat and everything. Kind of thinking about, instead of thinking of something weird I want to do and then finding a place to do it and a way to do it, taking a place like this and trying to think up crazy projects just to utilize this. And I've got that big desk in the cabin that I could do a lot of stuff at, like electronic-y kind of stuff and soldering and whatnot. But something like that I can use the nice high workbenches in here. Maybe that makes a lot of smoke. I don't want that in the cabin. We just fill the sucker right up. Got any ideas? Anything strange, fun, small that makes a lot of smoke? I was just gonna go grab a wrench. I forgot I don't need it. Remember these, oh yeah, I need a wrench to get that thing apart. Remember these cool little gnarled knobs that we 3D printed so you don't have to get a wrench all the time? Don't forget, righty-loosey. Alright, I guess I thought this was going to be more of a project. I thought I really had to put a lot of pieces in to get this thing to work. Oh, it's the other end where it runs through the bottom of the cabin. That was the issue. Well, I guess instead of taking up space in the shower, we might as well leave this extra one under here for now. Alright, one more pre-winter thing checked off the list. Oh, I forgot I wanted to take the screens out and wash all the windows too. Man, I'm just getting everything done today. This is fantastic. I'll let these fill up while I clean the windows. I usually hook them up and leave it there for, I don't know, 5 to 30 minutes or something. Just letting the pressure equalize. If you put your ear right up to the can, this can, you can hear when it's still filling. Why not have a little warm water? No sense freezing my fingers off. Many years ago, when I had a business doing this, you'd have to pay me quadruple to wash my own windows, and now, years and years later, sounds kind of fun. I don't even have any of the right tools or anything, but I only have 5 windows. If you ever clean your own windows with a squeegee the professional way, just use like room temperature water. It could be a little bit warm, doesn't matter. And a little bit of dish soap. That's pretty much all you need. I think the Dawn stuff is about the best. It doesn't take much, just a little squeeze. And since we're only doing 5 windows, that should be plenty. Better than ice water. Since I don't have an actual mop, window mop applicator, I'll just use an old towel, keep it pretty nice and wet. I think I cleaned these this spring, so they shouldn't be too gnarly. Yeah, they're pretty dirty. Not quite enough soap. Didn't slide too well. Not a big fan of the water running up my arm into the jacket. Need a little razor blading too. Never razor blade a dry window. That's what the soap's for. Just put your finger in a nice clean towel. Go around the edges. Touch any smudges you smudged. Should be good. I've took the temperature of the tank. When I took it inside, it was 30. When I brought it back out, it was still only 40, so didn't make too much difference. But that feels full. We're getting plenty of pressure. You pretty often see people washing windows with chainsaw pants on. I gotta think it happens every day. Dang, it is one heck of a lazy day. I've been sitting around editing videos for, I don't know, 5 hours, listening to music, watching it snow. Sure is nice to have wicked clean windows. Can't even tell they're there. It's not like the weather's really that bad. I could go out there and cook some real lunch, but I got one of these $5 stovetop toasters like a week ago, and I've really been enjoying using it. I'm breaking my rule of cooking inside. I don't ever like to cook in the cabin just because I don't want to attract animals, but it's Christmas. It's my birthday. It's, I don't know, it's a very special day. It's actually getting kind of smoky in here. This is, I got 4 pieces going here. I had 4 pieces for breakfast. Some with butter, some with peanut butter, some with almond butter. I'm a wild man with the toast today. Looks like it is going to snow all day, so I'm going to eat this, and then we're going out in the soggy white sprinkly stuff, and we got to drain some tanks. It's supposed to be down to about 20 tonight, and then not above freezing for the foreseeable future, so everything is going to freeze. You want a piece of toast? You're good? All right. The last couple days I just can't wait until it gets dark so I can use my machete light. Isn't that thing cool? I'm so happy with how that thing came out and the amount of light that comes out of it. Because you know everything in this cabin has to be ultra weird. If you didn't see that video, it was last week's. I'll put a link in the description. I think that was one of my favorite videos ever. It was definitely one of my favorite build projects. I mean, you got no electricity and you need light, what are you going to do? Obviously, machetes. Hey, don't tell my mom, but I also found I had some maple syrup in here. As Sarah is fond of saying, we're adults, we can eat whatever we want. Whoa. That is great. I think it's partly the good bread. It's like got a bunch of seeds and stuff, toasts up really nicely. Vanilla almond butter with maple syrup on top of it. You know? That definitely, that gets a double dang. Double dang. Ooh, that's some packing snow. First snowball of the year. Oh, question is it still grippy? Yeah, it's pretty grippy. Wait a minute, as soon as I take a shovel to this thing, isn't all that grip gonna come right off? Oh, I quit the worm. Oh yeah, we gotta get all these logs milled up before they freeze, and it gets hard to get the wrapper off of them. I'm new to this whole outdoors chainsaw milling thing. Is that what they call it, a wrapper? Sheesh, we didn't do this one day early, did we? See what we got left in here. Oh, well that worked out, it's empty. Which means as soon as I empty this thing, I gotta go out to the lake and get more water from my shower. And wait a minute, let's close that first. You know, you gotta think through these things. This is what you get if you buy the cheapest hoses on the planet and then let them get cold. It's almost like a stick. I don't think I'm gonna be able to wind this up. Well, I just learned something. Apparently the lid to this one is screwed on tight. The water stopped pouring out and then just went glug, 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 and it must have been pulling pressure that whole time. It's probably pretty close to a perfect vacuum inside there. There, now it's equalizing, the water's coming out again. Which means for the last who knows how long, I've been getting crap water pressure compared to what I could have had if that thing was cracked. Lots to learn, you know, next year. Wow, there's still water in there. I have an idea. Remember this? Tito got it for me for my birthday. It took us, actually we never figured out what it was. I think eventually somebody had to look it up. He just saw it and knew it was right for me. I bet we could use this to tip that up. I'm not sure I would do this if this was something big and heavy I was going to stand under. Oh yeah, the downside too is you release it by letting this down. So I'm going to have to stand here with the handle. It's too bad these L shapes weren't going the same direction. This is for something with snapping flooring together, hardwood floor or something. Oh, look at that. Hear the flow increase? It's a water tower, empty your outer jackety arm clicky thing. Everybody knows that. Can we set it down? See? See? First year I didn't forget. I'm not sure it was worth the effort to fill this thing up. It only got soaked in like 3 times. That's 3 times in 2 days, I think. Man, I don't know, you could almost shower in this water. It has a little bleach in it. It's pretty clear. Oh, it's actually not that clear. It does have a little tint to it. Yeesh, that is cold. Surprise, right? But it's clean, very clean. Well, just go get more water. You remember what that's called, do you? Laminar flow? Nice and smooth, which is kind of surprising seeing as it's going through a little threaded piece that thick and that wide. Kind of strange, but nice. Is it fog? It's sorry, video's over. Actually, the video is over. Thanks for watching. ready for winter. Winter's pretty much here. If I see you again next week, we'll probably finally be milling giant logs. I think I have pretty much all my small projects and to-do list knocked out. So as soon as these flurries pass, we're at it. So thanks for watching. See ya.